The most liked archaeological finds are those that come from the ocean's depths, out of all the incredible ones found every day across the world. The concept that large cities might be buried on the ocean floor, out of sight and out of reach, or the wonder and fascination about what else might be beneath the surface, are a few things we think about the underwater world that captures our imagination. Thankfully, submerged discoveries are not always out of reach, and each year, more amazing discoveries are unearthed thanks to developing technology in the study of marine archaeology. Here are the 10 fascinating marine discoveries that have captivated our attention. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss a video upload. Now, let's get started. Number 10. The ancient Egyptian city of Heracleion, on the border between myth and reality. Nearly 1,200 years ago, the city of Heracleion, which housed the temple where Cleopatra was installed, sank into the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Egypt. Before it sank more than 1,000 years ago, it was one of the most significant commerce hubs in the area. Similar to how Atlantis is still viewed today, the city was long thought to be a myth. However, the sunken city was discovered in 2001 by an underwater archaeologist who was looking for French warships. Divers uncovered the remarkably well-preserved city after scraping away layers of sand and mud. Many of the city's treasures were discovered, including the main temple of Amen-Gerb, huge statues of pharaohs, hundreds of smaller statues of gods and goddesses, a sphinx, 64 ancient ships, 700 anchors, stone blocks with both Greek and ancient Egyptian inscriptions, dozens of sarcophagi, gold coins, and much more. Number 9. The 5,000-year-old sunken city in southern Greece. There is a little village called Pavlo-Petri in the Peloponnesus region of southern Greece, which is also home to an ancient city that dates back 5,000 years. The city is located around 4 meters underwater and is thought to be the earliest known submerged city in the world, so this is not your typical archaeological site. The city has roads, 2-story houses with gardens, temples, cemeteries, and a sophisticated water management system with channels and water pipes. It is incredibly well planned. The majority of the structures have been determined to have up to 12 rooms inside, and the square or plaza in the middle of the city measures roughly 40 by 20 meters. The city's design is superior to that of many modern cities. The city is so old that it predates the period depicted in the renowned ancient Greek epic poem, Iliad. The site, which according to research from 2009 covers roughly 9 acres, was occupied as early as 2800 BC. Number 8. The perfectly preserved ancient Chinese underwater city. Xichang, sometimes referred to as the Lion City, is an ancient submerged Chinese city that is situated at the base of Wuxi Mountain, also known as the Five Lion Mountain, and is surrounded by the breathtaking Qiandao Lake, also known as the Thousand Island Lake. Since learning that the sunken city had been preserved entirely intact despite spending more than 50 years beneath, officials have developed a renewed interest in it, turning it into a virtual time capsule. The Eastern Han Dynasty, 25 to 200 AD, built the construction of the Lion City, which once served as Zhejiang's political and economic nerve center. Xichang was submerged under 40 meters of water in 1959 when the Chinese government decided a new hydroelectric power facility was necessary. Before Chu Fang, a local official in charge of tourism, decided to examine what was left of the city beneath the deep waters. The Lion City lay unmolested and forgotten for 53 years. Number 7. The controversial underwater structures of Zakynthos. An incredible discovery was made by Greek archaeologists in the Gulf of Alikanos in Zakynthos, Greece, in June 2013. It was an ancient underwater city. The Underwater Antiquities Department reported that the find contained massive public buildings, cobblestone paving, pillar bases, and other artifacts. The 20 stone pillar bases, each with a 34-centimeter diameter incision, which were likely intended for wooden columns, were of exceptional significance. Based on preliminary observations, it was determined that the relics belonged to a sizable ancient public structure, most likely a part of a significant settlement near the city's port. In an odd turn of events, a study published in December asserted that the artifacts are actually just a rare natural phenomenon and not at all the remains of an ancient city. Number 6. Mysterious 10,000-year-old underwater ruins in Japan. There are submerged ruins thought to be around 10,000 years old on Yonaguni, Japan's southern coast. The site's origin is fiercely contested. Some specialists claim it is man-made, while others assert that natural forces carved out the area. A diver who ventured too far from Okinawa's coast in 1995 made the extraordinary and breathtaking finding when he came across a sunken collection of monolithic blocks that appeared to be terraced into the side of a mountain. Huge stone blocks that perfectly fit together, right-angled joints, carvings, and what appears to be stairways. Paved streets, crossroads, and plazas make up the site. Despite the unusual features visible at Yonaguni, there are still some geologists who have studied the formation and are adamant that the large blocks formed naturally as a result of tectonic movement, like geologist Robert Schock of Boston University. Number 5. Swedish divers find 11,000-year-old underwater relics. Stone Age relics left behind by Swedish nomads dating back 11,000 years were discovered by Swedish divers in the Baltic Sea, which is a singular and uncommon discovery. The lack of oxygen and the abundance of Gicha sediment, which is sediment rich in organic matter at the bottom of a eutrophic lake, allowed for the preservation of several artifacts thought to have been dumped in the water by Swedes during the Stone Age. Finding Stone Age artifacts in such pristine condition is extremely uncommon. The team discovered ropes, animal horns, wood, flint tools, and other artifacts buried 16 meters below the ground. A carving of a harpoon made from an animal bone and the bones of an ancient animal called a aurochs, which was the ancestor of domestic cattle and the last of which perished in the early 1600s, are among the most notable items discovered. Number 4. Elongated skulls found in Maya underwater cave. Underwater archaeologists investigated a sinkhole in southern Mexico in January 2014 that frightened the local residents and discovered that it was littered with human bones and long-skulled skulls. The cenote, known as Sac Oyam, is a submerged cavern that is situated on Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. A cenote is a naturally formed pit where groundwater is exposed as a result of the collapse of limestone bedrock. The ancient Maya occasionally sacrificed animals with them. A feathered, horse-headed serpent is said to be the guardian of the enigmatic cavern, according to local folklore. Older inhabitants of Telchaquillo, a nearby village, recall hearing tales of individuals who witnessed a serpent perched in a tree, leaping up, spinning 3 times, and diving into the water. Archaeologists found out early on that there might be a very good reason why the locals are afraid of the location. Number 3. Incredible discovery of boat wreck in Croatia dated to 3,200 years. Giulia Boeto, a marine archaeologist and researcher at the CNRS in France, announced the amazing discovery of a boat wreck in Zambratihia Cove, Croatia. The wreck has just been dated to 1200 BC. A Bronze Age sewn boat is a type of wooden boat that was literally stitched together using ropes, roots, or willow branches. It is a unique and rare discovery. The boat is a sewn boat, which was a method of shipbuilding used in the Adriatic up until the Roman era. It is 7 meters long and 2.5 meters wide. The boat's remnants discovered in Zambratia Cove are remarkably well preserved for their age, with some stitching still being visible and the frame generally unharmed. Elm, alder, and fir were the 3 different types of wood used to build it. Tree ring dating is currently being done to determine when the tree was cut down to the nearest year. They intend to produce a 3D model of the boat and eventually a full reconstruction, according to Ms. Pero. Number 2. A 2,000-year-old intact Roman medicinal pill found in a submerged shipping vessel. In June 2013, a group of Italian scientists used chemical analysis to determine what exactly the ancient Romans used as medicine. The ancient Roman pills were found in the Relido de Pizzino, a 2,000-year-old submerged shipping vessel that sank off the coast of Tuscany. The remains of the Etruscan city of Peloponnesia, which at the time the ship founded was a major port along sea trade routes between the west and east across the Mediterranean Sea, were not far from the location of the Roman shipwreck. Throughout the 1980s and the 1990s, an archaeological superintendency of Tuscany excavated the Relido del Pizzino, revealing a variety of fascinating cargo, including lamps from Asia Minor, Syrian-Palestinian glass bowls, bronze jugs, ceramic wine vessels, and of particular interest, the remains of a medicine chest that contained a sugary hook, a mortar, 136 wooden drug vials, and several cylindrical tin vessels. Number 1. Artifacts retrieved from the site of the first ever ancient naval battle. Off the coast of Sicily, where the first ancient naval battle ever found took place, archaeologists recovered a treasure trove of artifacts in November 2013. These included battering rams, helmets, armor, and weapons dating back 2,000 years. They are the last remains of the Battle of the Egadi Islands, the final battle of the First Punic War, which took place in 241 BC between the Romans and the Carthaginians. The Romans had been at war with the Carthaginians for more than 20 years as they sought to establish themselves in the Mediterranean Sea. Even though the Carthaginians were far stronger at sea, the Romans waited for an opportunity to attack, trapping the Carthaginians and cutting off their sea route. Up to 50 Carthaginian ships were sunk, and 10,000 soldiers may have died. The Roman victory put them on the path to dominance throughout all of Europe. Over 2 millennia had passed while the priceless collection of artifacts had lain undisturbed on the seafloor at a depth of 100 meters. That was all for today, guys. So which discovery amazed you the most? Do tell us in the comments below, and subscribe to our channel for more mind-blowing videos like this one.